Well, I think I should point out, and will therefore, that with the last two recordings, especially the last one, I had almost no realization in me that it was worthwhile to attempt another recording. Not that the one before, I feel that turned out well, but I don't feel I've got just a secular thing in mind here. You know, what decision making and uncertainty is about, and I've probably dealt with that better elsewhere anyway. I don't think but nonetheless I started out of habit, really. And it's been a habit that's been an incredible blessing to me, whether I felt really moved or not, because so often, if I say it in casual language, I make such a move, but God comes to the party. And I just find it turns out to be, I'm so glad I did, you know? And I'm doing this recording for your welfare in that regard, because you're going to be like that. I think, well, I don't know, as I really are, iffy. Taste and see. Oh. And you find the time's rushed by, and you spent, I don't know how long I spent on the last one, 8 or 9 minutes, and the one before it apparently only about 4 minutes, I'm not sure. I may have got that wrong. But do you see? I'm back to the advice I used to give to my students, look, because I was always teasing them. So you're decision making and uncertainty. You're in a lift. And the girl there, I'm always thinking of the man's point of view, of course. I have an ego as big as a house. And there's this nice looking girl there you'd like to know, and goodness, she could be your future wife, you never know. Or, your future love, whatever you're looking for. Say something. If she doesn't respond, you've lost nothing. If she does, you may have gained the world. Talk to people. Be willing to make mistakes. You need to make more mistakes. Reach out. Not mistakes that are going to kill you, of course. I don't mean recklessness. And you start to know which mistakes are able to be coped with and which aren't. And you'll avoid those in the future. But, you get better with practice. Yes. Where was I? Something nice happens to you, put it on record, dictate it like I do, or even if you don't publish it, write it down so you've got it there. So, the memory doesn't hold the vividness of these lovely things that happen in your life. And okay, I say whatsoever's good and lovely. Think on these things, and you'll end up as crazy as I am. Well, I'm not sure that's a good commendation, is it? Depends what your view of me is. And I was in love at the time, and it occurs to me, hang on, Marsha, wasn't that really what did it? You were in love, and you couldn't have your sweetheart, but you were still somehow on cloud 9, in love. And love calls out love. What did you do? You turned to a possibility of God. Are you sure that wasn't a necessary requirement? It might be. I still think, though, there's a validity in whatsoever's good and lovely. Think on these things, because people don't. They're forever trying to find out what the faults are to avoid problems, and that's a very depressing thing to do, to look for trouble all the time. Whereas when you're in love, you look at the whole of the world and nature around you and everything, and you become astonishingly soft and benevolent. I mean, so much so that in ancient times the Hebrew was had a rule, supposedly God-given one at that, that if a person's newly married, well, he can't go to war for a year. Don't send him on the battlefield, he's useless. and in some sense, it's the greatest thing in his life. I mean, in this life, to be in love with someone. And you don't want to take that from him. So I think love does call out love, and that may have been why, what was happening in the background may have been the reason for me being sensitive to God, and certainly being in love was. But equally, well, taste and see, for goodness sake. You can't just be in love, can you? I mean, you can go out and look for someone to fall in love with, of course, but this might not be a good idea if you're already married with kids. Don't do that. I'm not commending that to you, right? Try this to see if it works. Whatsoever's good and lovely, think on these things. I think if you just practice that for even a very short while, you'll realize how it's transforming your spirit, yourself, your personhood, your joy, your happiness, your hope and your peace. And I think you'll find you are drawing near to your God. Bless you. And you are blessed. How do I know? I don't know. It's a decision making in uncertainty, isn't it? But you can taste and see. I mean, how reckless is that? Is it reckless to think on whatsoever's good and lovely? I don't think so. I mean, if you find you're having a phenomenal rate of accidents and everything else there, well, even then, I mean, you might say, isn't it wonderful? And I've come through, I'm still alive. Said he in hospital, bandaged up. Well, I don't know. But I don't think it's going to result in that, do you? You just enjoy. I got a little voice sitting behind me as I take him to school. And he's saying he doesn't like the holidays. But I don't like school either. I don't like either. And I said to him quite simply, choose to like both. And that can't be reasonable. I'm not doing that. We'll try it and see. Whatsoever's good and lovely, think on these things. And see if it doesn't have a miraculous effect in your life. And then in thankfulness and joy and gratitude, you may, like Marshall, want God to exist. Wow. Well, he can only exist in faith. It's unlikely he's going to stand before you. And you wouldn't recognize him if he did. Or you'd be frightened to death, one of the two. It's going to be by trust and faith. Choose to believe. Practice thanking him for all that's good and lovely. And in the end, you'll become so wide-eyed, so clear on the goodness that you've received, that you'll start to trust him for the things that, they might be small things, but don't seem particularly good. And thank him anyway, because you trust him in the circumstances that you've seen. I had fainted had I not believed to have seen the goodness of God in the land of the living. That's supposedly what I think it was Solomon said in the Psalms. Perhaps it was the Ecclesiastes, I don't know. But it's true. choosing to see God in the goodness of everything and the eyes of those around you, in their kindness too. Your life be transformed. It's as simple as that. You'll be what the evangelical Christians have called being born again. Well, they talk about it a lot, but well, at least many of them may not be terribly born again. Oh, we won't go down that path. Don't join a religion. Please don't do that. Love your God with all your heart, soul, mind and strength. Or just heart and soul, you'll find mind and strength follows without any effort at all. Love your God. See how it changes your life. And you will enter into untold blessing. Thank you, Heavenly Dad.